Alright, so welcome back everybody to another Philadelphia Eagles Impressions video. And before I start, I just want to talk about how the Eagles played really badly last night on Monday Night Football. Tough game. Played terrible the first half. Almost came back the second half, but just couldn't do it. So today what I wanted to do differently was sort of break down a couple plays why I felt like the Eagles lost. I could have easily just put out a raw emotions video of me just, blaming Chip Kelly and all this other stuff. But you guys have EDP 445 to do that for you guys, to get angry on camera and stuff. Instead, I slept on it. I watched a couple games, studied some film, and now it's time to break down a couple plays, tell you why the Eagles lost. And maybe, just maybe, you guys may come back with a little bit more knowledge in the game of football than you came in with. So you guys can see recording the screen here. Really hope I don't get copyrighted for using NFL footage, but fingers crossed. Anyway, let's get into it. And I want to talk about the line of scrimmage. The line of scrimmage for Philadelphia. And how it was completely manhandled on the defensive line, at least in the first half when they weren't blitzing. As you can see here, they're rushing 4, and I'm gonna play this, but I'm gonna stop it right at a certain point right here. So what do you guys see here? I'll tell you what I see. I see a completely clean pocket for Matt Ryan to step up in, to do what he wants, set his feet, throw the ball however he wants. And I see Eagles defensive linemen getting manhandled, getting pushed around by the offensive line of the Atlanta Falcons. That's just unacceptable. You can't win football games if you can't win the line of scrimmage. So let's see what this play leads to. Let's see what this offensive line protection leads to. Leads to that Julio Jones catch. And on that same drive, they scored a screen pass to get to a touchdown to Julio Jones. So I'm going to be breaking this play down just a bit for you guys. Screenplay, essentially, this wide receiver is out in front. He's going to be blocking Nolan Carroll. Receiver blocking. Offensive line is supposed to come out and block, and they throw it behind the line of scrimmage and hope they get a bunch of good blocks to score a touchdown. Now everyone on this play is essentially locked up except for Walter Thurmond, and I'm going to fast forward just a little bit. I'm going to show you guys how he has essentially a play to end not the game, but to stop the touchdown, but he doesn't make the tackle. So at this point, Julio Jones has the ball. Like I said before, everyone is locked down. Carroll, Kendricks, Maxwell, everybody. Jake Matthews missed a block on Thurmond, so now it's a one-on-one open field tackle. And take a look at what kind of tackle, what kind of effort Thurmond puts out. What was that? What was that? He essentially just fell down in front of Julio Jones. That was not a tackle. That was terrible. That was the one chance you had to stop them from getting inside the end zone, but he just didn't do it. He just didn't make the tackle. DeMeco Ryans will try to stop Julio, and he puts in a good effort, but at that point it's too late because he's essentially already in the end zone. And I'll play the play for you guys to see. DeMeco Ryans, but essentially too late. Now, I'm going to take you guys down to the board, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what Atlanta was doing all game that seemed to confuse the Eagles, at least in the first half. What they were doing is they noticed that the Eagles cornerbacks all preseason were playing really off the ball. And this was because they gave up so many X plays last year that they didn't want the ball going over their heads. So they decided, let's play as far back as we can in man coverage, because, Billy Davis loves his man coverage. So they're going to be playing 5, 6, sometimes even 7 yards off the ball, off the receiver, in man coverage. So what Atlanta does to exploit this is they run screens, slants, different stuff like that. So with slants, because they're so far off the ball, I'm going to get rid of this line here because you guys essentially get the point. Because they're so off the ball here, and they run a slant, so boom, slant. This receiver's beat. Boom, slant. That quarterback's beat, that cornerback's beat. The receivers beat these guys. Same thing here. They can run another slant, and because they're playing so far off the ball, these underneath things go down. And even if they do make the tackle, which they did a lot of times, they made the tackles, but they gave up 7, 8 yards, and that makes it a lot easier on third down, second down. So they just run the ball. Another thing they did was, like I just showed, the screen passes. Because they're playing so far off the ball, they can't prevent Atlanta from gaining any yardage because they're so far off the ball. They have to run so far. So receiver will go out and block. Julio or Roddy White would come around. Matt Ryan would throw to him, and they would just follow the blocked receiver. Another thing that Atlanta did to expose the Eagles was run play action. So after all these little dinks and dunks, they would run play action. So Matt Ryan play action to the running back. He would run a bootleg, and then he would stop right here. And now at this point, I'm going to get rid of these Eagles defenders. It's not like they were there anyway in the game. At this point, Atlanta is running a crossing route for the receivers. Crossing routes, they run about 5, 6 yards out, and then they cross in. It's basically a long slant. And this is really hard for any defensive back to defend because they stop on a dime. And because you're playing so far back, the fact that they stop on a dime, you're already over pursuing because you're stopping back. You're playing so far back, and you're trying to make up for that lost ground. So you start to over pursue. You sprint to the receiver. They all of a sudden cut on a dime, and they're wide open. And then they would have one receiver running a comeback route, which is essentially a if all else fails. And Matt Ryan would stand here, and he would either throw it, or if the linebackers are too busy trying to cover up for the cornerback's bad job, so like say it was Michael Kendricks or Kiko Alonso, would have to rotate over. So instead of blitzing the quarterback, they would have to rotate over and cover this receiver to make up for his bad play, the cornerback. So Matt Ryan would just run the ball, find no one there, run out of bounds for 15-yard gain. So it was just really, really bad defensive play by the Eagles. And it just seems like they were so unprepared for the game. I just don't understand it. I really don't. So we're going to go back to the game here, and we are going to go to a Sam Bradford interception. So, good thing I stopped it right here. Here we go. Like I said, line of scrimmage, you saw what Matt Ryan had. Matt Ryan had like all this room. Sam Bradford doesn't have all that room. Sam Bradford has this. Is that step up in, and the pocket's already breaking down. He's blitzing. He is getting inside containment on Jason Peters. Lane Johnson doing a pretty good job here. So is Andrew Gardner, but can't have that kind of pressure on the quarterback. And let's take a look at who he's looking at. Who are the receivers even doing here? You got Sproles in the flat. You got another receiver in the flat. You got another receiver running what appears to be a slant route. You got a receiver that's going to be running a hitch route that's going to stop right at the first down marker. And I believe you got another receiver that's going to be running another hitch route. But Sam Bradford never turns his head. He's looking right at this receiver. You wonder why? Because he senses the pressure is about to hit. So he doesn't feel like he has enough time to go in through his progressions. So you're just going to hope and pray that the receiver catches this ball when he has absolutely no shot. And you can see here, Sam Bradford takes a hit. He takes a hit right here. Lets it go, interception. And that's essentially the first half. But let's talk about the Eagles' game plan. The Eagles wanted to go out and throw a lot of hitch routes. Hitch routes, they would stop right at the first down marker. But Atlanta's defense really had that covered up. So what they did in the second half, they would essentially have a decoy receiver going out and running maybe a streak or something, and the rest would be running a hitch route. So that one tiny adjustment basically caused Atlanta to be extra confused. Same play, just this one receiver would be running out. That one receiver would draw a little bit of the defense's attention, and they would take him out. Another reason why they got so much success is that Atlanta, instead, they play a lot of man in the first half. Second half, they switched to more of a zone. A zone is basically where a defender is responsible for his own zone, his own area of the field. That's his zone. Don't leave the zone. Don't let anyone catch a ball in your zone. When quarterbacks are playing zone, right here, you can see there's these open spaces right here. And there's always open spaces in the zone defense. So if the quarterback just holds the ball a little bit longer, he can get it to these receivers in these open spaces. And because the protection got better, he started getting it to more receivers in open places. Another reason why the Eagles started to make that comeback was because of Darren Sproles, Ryan Matthews, and DeMarco Murray, and better blocking by the tight ends, Brent Selleck and Zach Ertz. They weren't really blocking all too well, but in the second half they started to block a lot better, which really opened up a lot of these plays. So sometimes the Eagles would just have 4 receivers blocking. They wouldn't even go out. They're all blocking their man. And Sproles would come around here around the quarterback, and he would just throw it to him. There was no other option. It was just Sproles. And because he would be running out, he's a big mismatch nightmare for that big scary linebacker over there. So the Eagles did exploit a lot of mismatches in the second half. However, because the defense was so bad, and because they needed to blitz a lot just to get a little bit of pressure on Matt Ryan, they couldn't pull out the victory. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching my first breakdown/impressions video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and a comment telling me you enjoyed. If you have any constructive criticism for me, that would be greatly appreciative. Maybe I said something wrong. Maybe you can tell me a couple other things that the Eagles did. But yeah, this is Movie 12. Like, rate, comment, subscribe. And go Birds. Beat Dallas next week. Let's get it.